Thank you for tuning in to The Real Tea with T3. My name is Tesia Harris, and I'm the team leader of Texas Trio Team. We're so excited about our guest today, so you can learn about new construction and what that can mean for you for an upcoming purchase. So I'm going to go around and introduce everybody. Hey guys, it's Kendra Gentges, team manager of Texas Trio Team. And so we've got someone special with us. So who are you and what keeps you busy these days?
Okay, my name is Amanda Schluens, and I am with Mercy Creek Homes. I'm co-owner with my husband, and we have been in business now for about 5 years. We're based here in Washington County, and we love everything from small houses, big houses, farmhouses, traditional, and serving our clients. So that is us in a nutshell. We are a small business, a small operation with great big dreams and great big goals. So yeah, that's us.
So how did you decide I want to be a home builder? How did you and your husband come to that decision together?
And I would love to say that it was one moment. Like it was this moment we knew, it was a lightning moment. And but I can't really say that it was one thing. I feel like just to kind of background on our name even, we're faithful people. We really believe that God has a plan for our family and for us. So mercy comes from that, because without it, we can do nothing from his mercy. So really, we felt like in our lives, we were moving to Washington County already, and our business started here. It didn't start somewhere else, and then we transitioned here. We're not from here, though we love it, and we're never leaving. But we really, when we got here, had just kind of this epiphany. We had always dreamt of remodeling homes, actually. Our original vision was not to necessarily deal solely in new construction. We really thought we would be more of flippers. And that dream kind of morphed and changed as sometimes his plan does. And so while we thought, we used to be the people living on HGTV, disclaimer, and building homes is nothing like HGTV. So, but we really kind of came to that moment when we got here. We said, why not now? Our backgrounds necessarily are varied. We come from varied backgrounds in the sense of we haven't been home builders come from a long line of home builders or something of that nature. My original degree was in education. I have a master's in theology. My husband, he originally got kind of general business and then got an MBA. So his experience and our experience that we bring to the table is so different. And when we started, we were like fledgling. We were learning. And we actually have a childhood friend that Cody grew up with who kind of showed us the ropes, if you will. Cody used to do custom cabinetry during college. So he's always worked with his hands. His stepdad built custom boots for the Aggie Corps. So, I mean, we're very intricate, detailed people by nature. And Cody has that background of being super handy, but his business mindedness is what he brings to the table. He is so customer oriented, so client forward. Just his business background alone in oil and gas. And he built another company from the ground up from 3 people to over 200 employees. And so he has so many skills that have translated to Mercy Creek Homes that it's such a blessing. And for me, I'm a people person. That's where I grow. That's where I thrive. That's where I wish to be. So when we landed here, we said, why not? Why not see where this takes us? And honestly, again, our first project, if you will, was a flip. We bought the ugliest home in Industry, Texas, and it was on Main Street, and we went for it. And part of what we do is we're so good at bouncing ideas and trust off of each other. I feel like he's the one that brings the wild cards to me lots of times, and I just trust him. Now, I will draw the line in the sand where I say enough is enough, but I have to say he has a great vision, and together, our team, we work so well together.
Mm-hmm. So when you were doing the flip that you first started the venture on, did you learn a lot about each other more than you already knew as a married couple? That you were while you're in that process?
I mean, that's today. I mean, it's every day. I feel like people who have worked with their spouse in any capacity, especially when you are a small business and you're providing for your family, you learn there are challenges. It is not roses and rainbows all day long. And I love yous. There are business tougher conversations. We don't always see eye to eye. I actually think we don't see eye to eye more than we do. And it's just really funny. But we have a third member of our team that we brought on about a year and a half to 2 years ago. And he works for us and is such a blessing. And he oversees all of our job sites and brings such a different dynamic now. So when we decided to leave behind, remember the gentleman who my husband had grown up with, he kind of helped us get our first footing. And then when we were like, you know what, thank you. And we're jumping out into the open, and it was just us for a good while. And then we brought on our site manager, and Brody Youngers is amazing. And he brings with him that background of what I was talking about, the construction family. He grew up around it, has done it for 20 years, and so on site, he's such a good guy to have. But at the original, so now we have 3 perspectives. So it isn't always just me and Cody, but it's Cody and Brody, and they do look like brothers. It's very confusing to people. But I will say the dynamic of we call ourselves the 3-legged stool, like all of us, like we work together, and we bring such different gifts to the table.
And I think that's so important to have those different personalities, backgrounds to come together as a collective for the main goal in any business, but especially yours.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I guess I kind of named what Brody brings. He brings that experience. Cody brings that business mindedness, and then I get to do all the pretty stuff. So for me, I love working with our clients. I love people, like I said, and so serving people comes naturally to me. I knew from an early age I could never be a person that sat in a cubicle. And for some, that is amazing. Or maybe they do scientific research, and that's their jam. And I love that because we're all created so differently. But for me, I have to be amongst the people. I want to be like Ariel and be amongst where the people are, right? And so I'm not gonna sing with you guys, but I love serving our clients and knowing their families and their goals and their backgrounds. Like when we build for people, you become part of the Mercy Creek family. It's legit. Like they know our family. Our kids are at our site. I haven't mentioned that it's a family business really too. Our kids are there sometimes picking up trash. It's not glorious, like I said, not HGTV. But they get to see them on site. We're running and checking things all the time. And sometimes, kids, we're stopping. This is mom and dad's business, and they understand that. And it's pretty cool because Colette, our daughter, has already asked to. She's already asked for us to build her house when she grows up. And our son has visions of working for us. And by all means, they can do whatever they dream up. But it is pretty cool to make it kind of a whole family or, affair, so to speak.
So you don't only do new constructions and custom homes and put all the love into that. You are also a licensed real estate agent.
I am.
So is that something that you put that hat on before you got into new construction or after?
It's a really great question. It actually
hit the mute button on my computer. On my computer, it's at the very top 5 volume and edit.
Edit. Oh man, you guys should have told me to sit.
Okay. Can you turn me up too? Like something is like my mic doesn't sound this. There you go. It doesn't have to be like crazy loud. Like a 5 and 6 is where they all need to be. That doesn't. Okay. I'm gonna ask that question again. So you not only do custom home building, you also are a licensed real estate agent. So was that something that you decided to do before becoming a custom home builder, or is it something that you added into your toolkit after?
No, our business model was created with that in mind. I actually have a really great friend who I put a lot of trust in, And when we were kind of thinking of everything, brainstorming, and she was like, it would make sense. Like, wouldn't it make sense for you guys to help people find that land? And so our business model is to help people from start to finish. And so it definitely was with this idea of Mercy Creek in mind that I would do real estate, not only in the traditional sense of helping people buy and sell their homes or properties, but also with the idea that that can be an added bonus to our clients so that it can be very streamlined so that they don't have to jump from person X to Y to Z. So finding that perfect land so that we can give insight as to, hey, yeah, do you know that actually you might end up, this is actually very rolling. You might end up spending a large portion of your budget putting in dirt work. Dirt ain't cheap. You know what I mean? And so we can give insight, or maybe you want to place it over here because of this sector. We can give a little bit of added insight as they go through that process. And should they need someone and not have anyone otherwise, then I can also help them sell their home when the time is right along the build process.
Go ahead. I'm sure that adds like so much value in your client's eyes. You're essentially like a one-stop shop.
Yes.
You're the it girl to them.
Yeah, so they have to really like us.
Yeah. Well, and it's not a 30-day process. Like if you're doing a resale or something, you are building a relationship with someone for likely one of their biggest investments and something they're putting their heart and soul in from the dirt up.
Absolutely. No, and I tell people all the time, and whether I get to help them in finding that land or in selling their current property, I tell them no matter what, this process is a marathon. Like it is not a sprint. And I love it. I love fresh new clients because they just bring so much vigor and energy, and I'm excited with them. But I also have to temper that with the fact that hey, there's going to be some really exciting parts. There's going to be some parts that are a little slower. There's going to be some challenging things along the way. That is what it is. That is home building. But one of the things when we created our business that was very important to me is that we help people enjoy that process. Mm-hmm. So often we even when we built our own home, we kept that in mind with each other. This should be fun. You should enjoy it. You hear from people sometimes when they build a home, gosh, I never want to do that again. And that was not the lasting impression we wanted to leave with people. We wanted people to enjoy putting their fingerprint on their home. That's going to make they're going to make memories and with their family and grow their family perhaps, or have grandchildren come visit or whatever it might be. It was just really important to us that they enjoy. I'm kind of an oddball like that though. I enjoyed wedding planning also, and most people hate it and they just want to get to the day. And I'm like, I loved it. It was amazing. So I try to help people have that same experience that we enjoy it. Now, is it always fun? Like I said, no, it's not always fun. And just like on HGTV, they only show you the good stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And what house can be built in a 30-minute segment anyway. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, we absolutely work to know our clients, know their vision, and help bring it to life while also enjoying that process.
So have some of your clients turned family?
Right. Yeah. We hang out.
Yeah.
We legit, they know my kids, I know their kids, get invited to birthday parties sort of thing. And obviously that's an added bonus. That is amazing that such people would come into our lives, that we have the honor to do this, like you said, this biggest investment in their life, that they entrust that to us. And then, oh my gosh, we get to continue to know them. That makes my heart full.
Yeah, it's priceless.
Truly. It makes it even more fulfilling. And at the same time, all we want to do is give to our clients and really serve them. And so when that happens, I'm like, man, we hit the jackpot, and God is so good, right?
So speaking of priceless, can you explain to a viewer what is the difference between just a normal new construction and a custom home new construction?
No, it's a really good question. And if anyone comes from a suburb or the city and they've maybe even built another house, that process is very different. And I can speak from my own experience because originally I'm from Houston, lived in a house. Cody and I, our process, our first home, we gutted it, and totally down to studs. It was gross, y'all. But we were getting married and Joe-eyed and thought it would be the best thing ever, and it did. It was amazing and got us on our journey. And then we moved to Katy and kind of a community. And we had that experience where you go to the showroom and it's A, B, C, or D. And while I think there is some goodness to some extent in that, because some people, that's the most they can handle. You know what I mean? Tell me the choices and I will choose from that, And the difference really is when we build, literally, like I was kind of saying, your thumbprint is on so many decisions, from the baseboards that you don't really take into account to the cabinet design. The obvious things, of course, like flooring, but like wall texture. And honestly, I tell people, the sky is the limit. I mean, the possibility of what we can create together is truly up to ultimately budget, but we can create whatever they dream. Ultimately, we've had people come to us sometimes and they had amazing vision and we were able to accomplish it because we step by stepped it, and that's not something when you sit down with kind of a community builder that you'll be able to do. You don't have that luxury, I guess you would say, to really have that kind of influence, and we do, and I love that, and we very much are forthcoming. I mean, if something they present to us maybe could be done in a different way, then we might present that to them and see what they might think. But ultimately, whatever they can envision is what we aim to bring to life. Mm-hmm. And that's just not the case. It's the A, B, C, or D when you are working within a community's kind of parameters.
Mm-hmm. So what are the trends that you're seeing, like maybe in designs or, finishes that people are wanting to do in 2024 as you project into 25?
So I am seeing a return to traditional, like farmhouse. We are still building farmhouses for sure, like where we live. But I have to say there's some return to traditional, bringing back brick, bringing in color, not so muted, making sure to still have a good palette, but also bringing that back in to have a little more personality instead of the blank slate or palette that we kind of had gotten to, I would say, for a while. A lot of neutrals and everything's kind of very played down. And so people are starting to have fun with wallpaper and of course, bringing different colors in. And for terms of finishes, I love when people want to bring in, antique brass or bring in a gold. And I really enjoy guiding people because the trend had always been, or the thought process some people have and get stuck in is it all has to be the same. Mm. Or, throughout the home, and otherwise it's going to look wonky and it's going to be scary, and I don't want that, right? And I love to help people tastefully bring in different finishes and different areas of the home. I often compare it to jewelry. Like, we used to live in a time where, you only wore silver or you only wore gold, but now we're able to mesh them together and they beautifully add and lend to each other. And so we do a lot of that, I would say, in terms of helping guide. And kind of to backtrack a little bit, we have a gamut of, we have a gamut of clients. Some come in and they know exactly what they want. And to some extent, I love that because we're like, let's execute, let's have some fun. I love your ideas. And then we have some that really just don't know what they want. And that's okay too, because that's kind of our role, is to help guide and to help if they are overwhelmed by, oh my gosh, if there's the sky's the limit, then where do I start, or how do I start? I help to narrow down that vision of what they're thinking, then to kind of guide them in that direction. And just speaking about the finishes and things like that, that would be something I would say that our team is very good at. And from the exterior also to interior things at our selections.
That was going to be my question, like envisioning building my dream home. Like, you don't think about the things like hardware on the cabinets or, XYZ, the sky being the limit. There's just, your brain's kind of full. So yeah, having you guys like there you guys have like a step-by-step plan, or like, what does that look like?
So we guide them along with each series of selections. So obviously now we know the timelines and lead times on certain things that are going to take longer. So, windows, obviously all the exterior structure and bones of the home get decided first. I know it's nobody's most fun decision making, like, oh, let's choose doors. Yay. But everyone wants to do the fun stuff inside. But obviously you have to have good bones. And the exterior is the first thing that everyone sees when they pull up to your home. And so we start there. And I guess I should back up. So when the whole process, should someone hear about Mercy Creek and they want to get to know us and see if we could be a good fit, we have that initial meeting to kind of see what they're talking about, what they're thinking in their minds. Do they have land already? There's like a whole initial meeting that we have. And that might even be 2 meetings, honestly. It just kind of depends what they're looking at and where they're coming from, et cetera. So in that time, we kind of find out, do you have a floor plan? Do you not have a floor plan? Are we starting from scratch? If they need help with creating a floor plan, we can help with that, and it will be uniquely theirs. If they've already engineered one with someone, then great. That's amazing. You're already bringing something to the table and kind of accelerating that process. But that's all started in the initial meeting, as well as, I know no one wants to talk about it, but budget and how that's going to work with lending, et cetera. Obviously clients are able to go anywhere. We love to support local. We feel like working with local is often a lot easier because big national banks sometimes are harder to get, communication with and draws and things. And here we know what we're faced to the phone. Yeah. And they know who we are at all the local banks, et cetera. So we kind of talk about that. And then in the second kind of onwards, we go, if we have a solidified plan, then we start with all those things. And we kind of have a checklist that we work down. And it is very methodical. And that is one of the beautiful things versus what we initially thought we would do in flipping. New models, to some extent, I would say, are a formula. They really are. There's steps you follow, and they are reproducible and replicable. And whereas sometimes with flips and remodels, it's like, what's behind door number 3? You just don't know sometimes. And so our time really, and when we started moving and the steam started growing, we just found that more people wanted to build new, and we decided to concentrate our time there. But yes, we definitely have a process, and we guide our clients with each step. Now, sometimes we can't tell. Our trades are amazing. I can't speak enough about them. We rely on them, and we trust them to do the work and quality that we like to put our name behind. But sometimes they're unpredictable. They might be coming on Friday instead of Monday, or Monday instead of Friday. And so we try to get things far enough in advance. But inevitably, we do like to prep our people that, hey, listen, sometimes there are game day decisions, and it won't be a big one. But if there's something that we need from you, we're going to let you know as far in advance as we possibly can. So
it's very much, your trades are very much like the weather. You never know what it's going to do. And so you just have to have a good enough team that you trust and that can execute the job.
Yeah. And we really, we have through, even though we're, fairly in our infancy still, 5 years is very young. I would say we have grown to have people and trades, as I say, that we can trust and rely on. And if ever there's a time, and it's unfortunate because we look at these people and we know they count on us to feed their families. And so we want to honor that, and they know what to expect from us. And it's kind of like a very mutual relationship. But should there ever be a time where it's not working, we know that we have to part ways. It has to happen in order for the good of our company, because we are putting our stamp of Mercy Creek on this home, and we want people to be proud of what we create for them. So, yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of people don't know, and I'm just curious if you've ever had this circumstance. Maybe somebody went out and bought land. They just like the view of it, but then they come and contact you, and then you get out to the land and you're like, holy Toledo, the dirt work on this is going to be off the charts. Do you ever have people do that?
No, that's never happened.
You're a liar.
Yes, that has definitely happened. And bless it, because you want them to enjoy where they're living, right? You can't change, that. I can create for you a beautiful home. We can create for you a beautiful home. I am a part of a team. Wherever, right? But we can't create the scenery. We can't create the location. So it is important to really be very mindful of that. I think as people are out looking, that you should really love where you land. And then we're going to create that custom home exactly how you dream and walk with you in that journey. But yes, we have had it happen, and it is tough. You have to, I would say, work together to kind of figure that out, right? So sometimes that means drawing back from a certain area and giving more to that dirt work and the land work. And but the views in this county, they are beautiful. So if you find the right one, as long as you know that you're not unrealistic, we can make it work. It just might, yes, cut into the budget a little bit. So
just a little bit of give and take.
Right. We try to be transparent about that. And sometimes we can't know fully what that number will be until, we get into it. But we do try to give them the best estimate that we possibly can, because I always say, I know personally, I like to plan. I'm a planner, type A to the max. I'm sure y'all don't know that. But I really do love to plan. And so if I can help our clients avoid surprises, because I don't really love them, except for like birthday, and fun stuff, then we want to do that for them. So we try to be as realistic with our budget that we bid out or quote for our clients as we possibly can. And that's why in those initial meetings, it's so important for us to get the very thorough picture, because even appliances, we build in, a budget for that. And let's say you're like, I don't really care. But then you're like, later down the road, you want this super, super duper high end where everything costs like altogether like $40,000. Well, when we talked, you didn't care. So we put it in this compartment, right? And we put it in the $15,000 compartment, or whatever. It's just a full transparency relationship that we are working hand in hand. And so the more honest our clients are and the more they can help us see what's inside their head, the better it's going to be for everyone in the long run, because we will budget correctly, we'll move correctly, and we'll be able to pace along with them to get to the end product in the best way possible.
So I wanted to ask you, you're kind of in your infancy whenever COVID happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you say 5 years, like that was just like, right, you were brand new and it was like, oh, the world shuts down.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, like where things are today in the new construction world in comparison to when there wasn't supply, when people couldn't work, when all that, like, how did you get through that struggle? And then how are things today?
When plywood was like ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, the prices,
no windows available.
So hard. It's, I just got chills. Like, it's so funny because when my husband, Cody, started his oil and gas business, and like I said, it grew and it started and we didn't know where it would take off to. Right. I have to say it was in a downturn. And it's funny that we started this company kind of in a downturn, right? And at the time, I remember, because we have 3 kids. They're all within 3.5 years. When he started that company, they were babies, like babies. And people looked at me like I was cuckoo. They're like, what are you doing? Your husband's starting this company. And like, are you even going to have insurance? Like, what? I'm like, I don't know. It's going to work. I just trust it and we're going for it. Right. And I guess we are go-getters, and here we are. We started another company, and and from the outside looking in seems crazy, right? Like, why would you do that? Why don't you just wait till things settle and it's more, you can know more and move forward in that way. And I don't know, maybe we are crazy, but we just, we play the long game, we know that there's going to be ups and downs, and if in the grand scheme of things, if you wait forever to follow your dream, you might never get there. So we went for it knowing that we couldn't exactly, foretell where it would lead. And we're grateful where we are. Oh my gosh. But yes, that was a slower strange time. Honestly, we still worked with most of the same trades, honestly. Most of the same trades. Not all, but we did. We kind of worked our way through that. And it was hard because we couldn't always tell our clients exactly those projections of lead time. Like, oh, your garage doors, they're going to be in 6 weeks. Well, no, they're not. And we can't exactly tell you when they're going to be in. But we're going to keep moving on everything that we can do in order to keep being productive, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess in that way, kind of back to the Mercy Creek family, we're grateful that people who choose us just really trust us, because I hope they see our hearts, that we want what's best for them. So that's our ultimate goal. You know, yes, it's a business and we're providing for our family, but we want to honor our clients, you know, and so they trust that we're going to take them from ground zero to the end.
Yeah. So I am curious though, like, how do you see things today in comparison to back then? Are things getting slowly back on track and all good?
Yeah.
Cheaper?
Yes. I would say in some areas, yes. Cody could answer that better because he's the finance guy, but from everything that I know, yes, things have evened out a lot. Trades are a little more expensive, I would say. Land doesn't go down. There's no hot sale on land around here. So the price, you know, to build a custom home, depending on what you're looking at, square footage, your finishes, do you know what? I always say, do you want filet mignon or are you happy with Chick-fil-A? I love Chick-fil-A. I love it. But like, I also know that I love filet mignon. So like, where are we at in that? Are you in the middle? Are you over here? That depends. So prices, I would say, and availability have definitely gotten easier to work with.
Definitely. So I know obviously every home is different. But if someone just walked in and said, how long is this going to take?
Oh my gosh, I thought you were going to ask the number one question we get actually is, what is your price per square foot? And that is like such a wild card in question, you know, that we are like, listen, we're not trying to evade your question, but really there are so many variables in that you cannot nail that down.
Yeah.
And I mean, the ballpark could be extreme, you know, but that I would say, in terms of building there are still a couple of factors. Do you already have financing lined up? Do you already have your land? Do you already have your plan? There are certain things, because sometimes making the plan and getting it just right to where it's feasible, because we want it to work for your life. You know, I would say, you know, things can be as pretty as they can be, but if it doesn't work for your life, what good is it? You know? So that's why, in getting to know our clients, you do this, that, or the other. You raise animals, or your dogs are in and out all the time. Well, what do you think that floor? Maybe we should think about this floor, or maybe we should create a bathing station in your laundry room, or like, you know, we like think about all these lifestyle things, you know, and what could be most functional for them. So if they come to us and they have a lot of those essential building blocks, so to speak, in place, then we're able to move fairly quickly. We could probably produce a home in about 7 months, you know. So it's sometimes not as long as you think. Some of the larger homes that are more intricate, I would say, are closer for sure to a year, upwards of a year, and maybe a month or two. So does that help answer that? Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So it can have a few answers.
So I want to kind of transition to, you are not only, you know, an intricate part in your business and with everybody that you work with in real estate or new construction, but you're also a mom. Mm-hmm. So how are you balancing 3 children, a business, real estate, all of it?
Mm-hmm. Sometimes I'm not. Someone once told me, you juggle a lot of things, right? We all wear a lot of hats, probably, you know, and you juggle a lot of balls in the air, right? Just don't drop the glass ones. So the ones that really matter are the ones that I give my attention to the most. Like, I have to say no sometimes to things, and I have to be very mindful of my usage of time. You know, I am a mom, and our kids are in the thick of it. We're very involved in sports and activities. 2 of our kids just started select teams in College Station, so we're burning up the roads to practices. Sometimes we should carpool. Let's do it. Because sometimes it's like 4 times a week, and I'm sorry, but I might, burn my car out before it's time for sure. How does he put so many miles on it? No, running my kids around. No, lots of the time. And that is just where we are at in life. And I try to keep that in the front of my mind that this is not forever. Our business will be here, praise God, hopefully, when they are off in college. But I won't get these moments back with them. So, there are times where, let's say a potential new client is like, hey, I can meet on Saturday. Can you meet on Saturday? And we're like, we have 3 games in 3 different parts of Houston or Cyprus. And so we at this point, we're okay to say that doesn't work for us. What about X, Y, or Z? Do these times work for you? Whatever. And so we have to safeguard our family because, if you don't run your business will run you. And so that is not the reason why we started Mercy Creek, nor why I do Coldwell Banker and work as a real estate agent, is not to, work my family around my business. I work my business around our family. And to some people, that might be disappointing. And maybe we wouldn't be a good fit then. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But we are attentive to our clients. And sometimes Cody says we're too accessible because, we'll be on the couch finally collapsed and, we're getting texts, at a certain time. I'm like, oh my gosh, But he's like, he wants to respond, right? And he wants to be available, Sometimes it's directly 7:58 in the morning, and he's ready to respond or I'm ready to respond. And we do want to make ourselves available. But juggling is a lot, and he and I also both volunteer at our church. We're starting a youth group there. That's a lot. I used to do youth ministry full-time as my job. And so I know what it takes. And I'm kind of an unpaid youth minister right now, which is fine. I'm so fine for it because it's amazing to see these young people come where there's not been a lot. And I think God's going to do good things with it. But that's another piece of our puzzle, right? It's another thing that requires our time and our energy, but we're grateful to give that. And so I think, I don't think I'm supposed to do this, but I'm going to plug a little device that really helps me in my life. It's called a skylight, and it has changed my life. Okay. So just a side note, it helps us stay organized to where Cody and I communicate on it all the time. It's on the wall in our house. Everyone can see everything that's happening in the calendar. We translate it from our phones, and chores go in there. You can meal plan in there. It is a game changer. So sorry, I don't get paid endorsements, but I should. I've told so many people about it. But in terms of time management, I think that's a big answer, is just making sure you know where your time is going and that it's going to the things that you want it to go to. Because if you don't, you'll suddenly feel like you have no time. But you and I, we all have the same 24 hours. It's literally just how we use it.
I really love your glass ball analogy. And also just talking about in business, you can get so far, but there's a little aspect of it that you have to give back in order to get more. I feel like, so whether that be volunteering or just taking time, and doing something for your community, I think that's really commendable for you to do something like that.
Yeah. No, I think that God, again, we all have different gifts. You have gifts that I don't have. You have gifts that I don't have. I have some maybe y'all don't have. But we all bring those to the table. And the goal in life, I think, is to figure out, how do I use those? Not just in work, but also to serve others, because at the end of our lives, how well did we love, right? And so I get to love on a lot of people through my real estate clients and our home building clients. But to stretch our reach further, we do. We just love volunteering, particularly to the youth ministry. And that's actually how Cody and I met. Little sidebar. We met that way at church. And then he started volunteering. He was this little small town boy in Houston. We met in Houston. We did not meet in College Station, despite many people think that, because he's from Snook. And I went to A&M. They're like, oh, I'm at A&M. I'm like, nope, going to the big city. So we met at church, and he started volunteering. And so I guess that has always been rooted in us and important, and we want our kids to see that too, that, in a culture that sometimes talks all about me, it's important that our focus isn't solely on me.
Mm-hmm. So whenever you've got things that you're working on, planning out for your future, for your legacy, for your kids, and for yourself as as we get older. But what are things that you're doing for your self-care, for you?
Well, as you know, right now, I mean, I have a back injury, and I have to be mindful of that and have to slow down a little bit, which is not in my vocabulary. So I think self-care, not that I wasn't doing it and then I got injured. This is a known thing. But when I got injured a long time ago, I think I knew that is important, because you don't notice your health until you don't have it. And so again, I'm no good to my family if I'm not healthy, or if I'm so stressed that I'm not hearing what is going on in their lives or what have you. So for self-care, I can only be good for them and for my clients when I'm at my best. And so for me, it's what everybody says, eat right and exercise, womp womp. But no, I really feel great when I exercise. So right now, not being able to go work out is like killing me, but I still have to find joy in other things. So, I journal. Like, I spend time, I go to our chapel, I spend reflection time. I like to get up before my entire house. And that's, someone once told me I don't think it was a podcast, actually. And it was this idea of, the scatteredness of your mornings and how that affects your day, but not only your day, your kids' whole day. Right. And, and then someday I felt kind of selfish. Like I was like, oh my gosh, I'm getting up basically like when they're getting up, and that is not working, so they were like, if you can challenge yourself for 30 days to get up at least 30 minutes, try for the hour, but if you can't do an hour, 30 minutes before your kids are getting up. And it changed things for us. I'm calmer. I have gotten my coffee, started my routine. I sat down, had a short reflection, laid out lunches. I mean, I love the quiet in the morning. It's one of my favorite times in the day. And I feel like that's a good mindset to start and walk into the day with, because otherwise, your kids, I don't know what my kids' DNA is. I mean, I guess it's just like me, because my alarm goes off and I'm like, up. And they're like 15 things coming at you. And I'm like, oh my gosh, slow down. You just got up, And so if I was already not set, I found that it was chaotic for us. So that's my self-care, my coffee in the morning and reflection, I would say. And then working out, I am probably one of the healthier people, but not crazy, because I love a good burger in the air. But healthier people that I know among my friend group and et cetera. But so health is very important to me.
And I cannot express like how in alignment we are with like morning routines. And I'm so glad to have that validation from someone else that is doing that in the morning. And you saw the shift of like, I'm not feeling okay. I'm going to make the shift for myself. And then look at all the dominoes that have fallen in the positive direction because I've chosen to make that impact on my life. So I think it's really important that your kids see that too. That, if they ever get, because I was I was listening to a study the other day. I think it was actually a podcast too. It's a new form of media, but that if you are depressed or like, I think a lot of anxiety that goes on with people in our society today is if you just exercise, if you're just like walking and burning that energy, like it's basically if you're burning sweat and you're burning those, like in a sense, your emotions of negativity and all of those things. And I think it's so powerful. So I think it's good that we're sharing it with other people. So if they are in that moment of distress, depression, anxiety, any of those things, like these are little steps that you can start every day, not just, you don't have to build mountains, build Rome in a day.
No. And someone just told me that yesterday. Rome wasn't built in a day. I mean, I love it. So it's funny that you said that, but I always, so it's not, we don't have a polished Instagram. It is just me posting who knows very little about technology. It is not my forte. So I love that you have this set up, but for me, we have an Instagram. We like to share some of our projects, etc. But you'll see I'll be sometimes out for a run on my Instagram and share that with my dog Sadie, and she's my running buddy. She really is. Although my son has gotten into cross country, so I guess it's somewhere in our genes. But it brings such joy. And when I do get to run, when I'm well, I say that is real reflection. Like I used to listen to the jams, right? And get all pumped up and hyped up, and I have found that reflection and just different reflections as I run is so much better for me. I get this thought process. I get to have real thoughts. And there's not 15, like I said, 15 things coming at me, and because that is most of my day. No day for Cody or me is ever the same. So running and exercising, even if it's walking right now, this is all I can do right now. I do it, and your mindset is so much better. So I would encourage everyone. And sometimes people look at me, or they're like, oh my gosh, you run marathons, or you go out, you run, and it looks so easy, or you must always have been a runner, which I kind of have, but I work at it. And I didn't always run long distance, and I had to build up, so I encourage people just to start wherever you are.
I love that. I love that so much. And then even if you're having a physical injury or you need to take a break, there's other modalities as far as expressing your energy in, a physical form of yoga, meditation. I mean, there's other things that you can do to release that
It's good endorphin.
That's the word. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. No, I'm looking for them all the time. I'm like, where are you at? I need you. Get my head right? So that way we can think clearly and operate at our best.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to take this conversation as a sign that I need to challenge myself to wake up earlier, because as you guys were talking about it, like you said, you wake up and then your kids wake up. That literally happened to me this morning. And I felt like we were three little chickens running around. It was chaos. And that, it really fuels your entire day. It does. And that, it just kind of carried with me throughout my day. So I don't know if we were meant to do this podcast, but I'm going to take it and I'm going to challenge myself. Even just like you said, the 30 minutes, that would make such a huge difference.
But do it for 30 days. Just do it for 3 days.
Yeah.
For 30 days.
Even on the weekends too.
Well, I honestly,
I see it okay, so during the week, you are getting ready for school and doing all of those. But even on the weekends, if your kids, are waking up at 7 o'clock, try 6:30, maybe not 4 a.m., but some people over here, I don't know who you're talking
about. You live on air. Please sleep.
It's okay. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Let's check back with you in 30 days then.
Yeah. So it's over accountable. Hold me accountable.
It's recorded. She's going to be like, edit. Cut. I know.
Well, while we wrap this up, I want to, if someone finds this and they're like, oh, I really like her, I want to connect with her, how can they find you online?
Sure. We have, again, our Instagram. They can message me directly through that, follow us. And of course we have our website, mercycreekhomes.com. You can find our number on there. Would love to have anyone connect with us. And
why not? Sorry, perhaps change the keyword.
Okay. So we've had just a great conversation with you today. So if someone knows or wants to reach out to you and maybe connect, just maybe for advice, or if they want to build a new home, how can they reach you online?
Sure. Yeah. I would love to connect with people. Couple of ways. There's Instagram, of course. Like I said, please don't go there looking for a total influencer. That's not me, but you can certainly access me, ask me questions, follow us, and see our projects. And then also we have our website, which is mercycreekhomes.com. So you can find our number on there and put an inquiry also online, and we'll connect with you.
All right. Awesome. Well, we have just truly enjoyed having you on and informing people that are watching about new construction and custom homes and what that means for them. So thank you for tuning in. You can always find us at texastrioteam.com. Be sure to like and subscribe to us, and take care and keep living your best life.
Bye.